Hello and welcome back to Deauveau with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very welcome. Now this is what we built last week, the power station, and I'm fairly happy with it. It's 90% done. There's a little bit more detailing and embellishment we can add to it. But I'm not going to do that today, and same with the water treatment facility, same could be said over there. I want to actually get on and put in the final part of the pre-build infrastructure, and that is the waste treatment plant. It's going to be going on in that little clearing just there. But before we can do that, we need to do a little bit of networking, putting in a roundabout and some extra roads, clearly. Now, those of you that like the slow pace of my time lapses won't like the next minute, and that is because we're going to be running at 800 speed. Now, two reasons for this. First of all, you don't need to be seeing me do this at a snail's pace. You know how to build roads, don't you? I think once you've got an idea of how you want to have the layout, you can build the roads. The other reason for the 800 speed is to hide my lack of muscle memory. Those of you that watch the show regularly will know that I haven't actually done or built a city in anger for 2 years, and seriously, my skills have slipped. This took me way longer than it should have done, and those of you that want to embarrass me, if you measure how long this time lapse took and then times it by 8 and then add a little bit, because there was a short pause in the middle of it while I was having a coughing fit or something, I don't know. It took me way too long just to build this little road section here. Now, the waste processing plant you're about to see is partly from imagination and partly based on my local waste processing plant. This part on this side of the road will be all from my own creativity, just looking at what assets were available and seeing how they would possibly work together. As always, I will talk you through the assets that I'm placing down, and all the links will be in the description that are down below, so do feel free to go and grab those ones that you particularly like. Now, the first one we're going to pop down here is the large recycling centre by Fishbus. It's been around a long time. It's a very nice unit indeed. What I particularly like about it is I'm in the UK. We use the pound here, and the alternative plants that I could find had a dollar sign on the front, and that wouldn't really work in the United Kingdom. So anyways, this is the first of a few assets that are going to be plopped down in this particular area. It's all going to be quite just this little clearing here. It's all going to be kind of fitting into there. But there's going to be a lot going on. I managed to find a way to fit it all together and actually make good use of the area. So yeah, be prepared for quite a lot to be happening just going on here. Next up, these two units. On the left was the glass MRF, and on the right the aluminium or aluminum MRF, because I think you Americans would appreciate me using a little bit of your lingo there every now and then. So yes, they're both from Avanya, glass and aluminium MRF processing plants there. Now, up behind the large processing plant here, another one from Avanya, the Ferrus metal MRF. Now, I'm using Move It to rotate that around, and the entrance is actually on the side with no road. Kind of off camera, I think it was. I popped in a muddy road down underneath the trees. Don't think anybody's going to really notice it. The only thing that's going to like to go down there would possibly be, obviously, a garbage truck or a fire engine if the place catches fire. But generally, there's not going to be much going on down there. So I'm quite happy for that to be like a hidden road, so we can actually have full access to services. Now, so what's next? Next will be, we just change the roads here. Just change the roads and do a bit of tweaking and a little bit of ploppable asphalt. I haven't quite got the colour right on the ploppable asphalt. I've got some interesting glitching going on as well in today's show. Like the asphalt, I found occasionally would just switch back to being black. I don't know what's causing that one, and I had to keep basically going back and adjusting the colour of the asphalt in the settings. Don't know what causes that. If you do, please let me know. Anyway, next up we have the Garbage Landfill ++ Revised ++ by Speedtraxxdj. This is a really nice asset indeed. Tried to blend it in a little bit because it sort of like jaunts a little bit compared to the roads. I've used the Muddy Road by HooHeeHaa there. You'll see a little bit of use of that, and also of the big Decal Mud by Ronix69. Just trying to blend it in. Doesn't quite work, but it's close, and it certainly looks a lot better than how it was. I'm also dropping the elevation of the asset a little bit, so it looks like it's kind of dug into the ground a little bit. That's because it would be dug into the ground a little bit, just a little bit. So anyway, there we go. That's that one. Now, just tucked in behind here, I wanted it hidden a little bit from the main road, would be an industrial unit. It's the large waste incinerator by Jorvik, and this is going to be the way of burning off, because you've got the this landfill will be producing waste, collecting waste until it's full, and having the incinerator right next door will mean there won't be too far for them to actually transport all the waste for incineration. Tucked in behind there as well is going to hide the ugly building behind some of these modern factory style units from Avanya. I'd call it an ugly building. It's not. It's a very nice asset. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's an incinerator. Incinerators aren't very aesthetically pleasing creatures at all, are they? Now next up is the fly tip 1x2 by Trippy. Decided I didn't want that one there. At the top here, where this road dead ends, I figured if we convert that into a muddy road, get the mud road out there, and then use some of Ronix's decals to extend the road out, and pop this at the end here. And I'm going to actually, at some point, put some more trash decals down here, and maybe one or two abandoned cars in this particular mudded area at the end here. Kind of makes a bit more sense to me to do that. But yes, that for me, I think adds a little bit more detail at the top, makes it blend more with the environment. Next up is the construction fences by Armesto. I've got, there's about, I think there's 3 in the pack. That's the green plastic walled fence that people do to hide things, and trying to hide that a little bit from the forestry and then the main highway road on the other side as well. Now we're coming onto the side of the road, which is going to be less operational in terms of real build, but it's based more on my local recycling plant, and once again I'm forgetting to switch on and off Anarchy as I need to. So this was the first thing that I wanted to build, but I knew it was going to be the toughest thing to build, and it was going to be much more difficult to build than what you've just seen, because there's going to be lots of elevation change, well, some elevation change in this. It was all tweaking, and so this is, lots went wrong here. A lot went wrong here, including props suddenly disappearing time and time again. Now, what I'm using here is oh crikey, I've lost it. It's the Old Stone Key by Avanya. Now, it has got these little bollards on the top, and I'm going to get rid of them simply by unsubscribing to the bollards that are on the top. Now, I wanted this just for the colour of the frontage. I preferred that to the stark grey of the standard vanilla key, and I know there are other keys available, but this one had the right kind of look for me. So yes, those bollards hopefully by the next episode will be disappeared once I've unsubbed to them. But yes, basically what happens in this particular my local waste treatment facility is you've got these containers, and they're just down in like a little gully, for want of a better phrase. And then you reverse your car up, and each container is for a particular type of recycled element. So you'll have one for old furniture, one for newspapers, one for metal, and so on and so forth. Now obviously I haven't got all of those options available to me within the game, but just putting a whole selection of the a mix of the roll-off container by Avanya and the roll-off container with debris by Avanya are these assets I'm popping down here. And then I'm going to at some point put in some decals for the cars to reverse in, and maybe a few prop cars of course as well on the top of the quay. Now I did try and actually do this in the build, but I forgot to have prop snapping switched on. I say I forgot, I deliberately didn't have prop snapping switched on. Oh, this is me trying with construction fences here and failing because it just needs the elevation. So yes, I'm going to need prop snapping switched on to make that work. But yes, those of you that watched episode 1 will know I had some problems with prop snapping, and I decided against having it switched on, but I may have to work out what the problem is. I will work it out. It can't be rocket science, can it? It's a game. It's a game, I tell you. So anyway, so it's just finding the time to actually to do it, especially when this particular build took me, I think it took me about 3 hours, what you're seeing today. And in terms of the narration, well, it's taken me about the same again actually. I've got a bit of a cough on the go, and I'm trying to do this in one take, but I've got a feeling at some point I'm going to have to pause the recording, have a good old coughing fit, because I've been at this about an hour already. It may only seem like a few minutes to you, but I've been starting and then restarting and then restarting again. Just a little bit, I wouldn't say it's not a winter cold or anything like that, but I've got some, shall we say, phlegmage. Yeah, we won't talk anymore about that. It's a disgusting thing. So yes, I'm just doing some tweaking. Now, I did have some problems with these props disappearing. All of those ones I've just popped down there, and also what I'm about to pop in terms of a building on the corner there, just disappearing. And I think I have learnt my lesson, and that is to get absolutely certain that you have got your networking in place, 120% in place, you're not going to be moving anything, and then prop it up afterwards. Yeah, now this is Spence's small utility building that we saw in last week's electricity, the power station build. I put in a few together to try and make a differently shaped building, and also to try and hide the glitching there. Unfortunately, you'll notice that it all disappears in a minute. I found a way around that. I found a way to quickly fix that one, but I had to do it multiple times, which was a bit of an annoyance. Like I'm doing some networking here. As you can see, we're building a road out. We're going to connect it up, and when we connect that up, you'll find things just suddenly they go. They just absolutely disappear, and it was heartbreaking to me. I go, what? I did all that work. Where did it all go? And I don't know. There you go. There goes my building. it's a sad day. But never mind. Now for the next few minutes I'm going to be struggling with networking and props appearing and disappearing. Don't worry about that. But it's going to give me the opportunity to talk about the plan, because there is a plan. So when you do your first ever city build, the first thing you do is you just plop down a power station or a wind turbine and a water pump and a sewage outlet, and you'll need a garbage plant, and that's it. And then every now and then you'll pop down police stations. But those first things are the ones that I wanted to get built right off the bat, which I have now done. We've got the power station, we've got the water processing, and we have the garbage facilities dealt with already. So that should see the city, well, quite nicely, I would say. I hope. Now, as of the next episode, we can actually start with some residential area, and that's going to be in what is the actual real-life start square for the map. What's the map? Well, if you're new, you won't know. It is St. Catherine's Point by me, BonBonB. It's my own map, yeah. Spent several months building it last year. Really pleased with it. It's exactly the sort of map that I would like to build on. It doesn't have the hugest of build planes, but there is plenty of build area, as you will see over the coming weeks. And it's certainly big enough for a large town on the mainland, which is what we'll be doing here. And then I think there's room for a small city actually on the edge of map as well. And I might even do a little build on that. I'm not particularly wanting to build a huge mega city. I don't live in a mega city, I live in a large town, and so I'm kind of like emulating what I know and what I like and how I feel, you know. I'm going to take in various aspects of small towns and such as well. So anyway, that's the plan. We'll expand out and do some residential. Won't be next week because I haven't started recording City Edition for February yet, and that's going to take up a lot of time. I won't have time to actually do any city build during the next 7 days. But then we'll return and we'll do some more work on that area. Now, next part, this part here, I changed my mind on when I actually saw what I'd finished building. It just seemed a little bit unbalanced this side from the opposite side of the road, and it needed a building. So when you see the closing cinematics, what you will see here is the Recycling Centre by Fishbus. That's right, it's the small version of the large recycling centre by Fishbus, which you see on the opposite side of the road. So that will be plopped in. You won't see me place that, but honestly, it was literally just plopped and it was done. I was very happy with it. We're probably going to have to do a little dropped road connection just to make everything fit together. Now, these trucks here, these are props. These are the ISUZU. Is that how you pronounce that one? Anyway, ISUZU GIGA Garbage Truck prop by jaijai. It's more of a bulk truck refuse carrying type thing. Indeed. I wanted something that ideally I would have liked to have had the generic trucks I'm going to be using as agents for the city. The ones that I'll be using in the city are the DAF Garbage Trucks by Dutchmountain, and you'll see one of those on the roll through at the end when we do the cinematics. At the other end of this little stretch here, you'll see me plop down the Mack MRF front loader garbage truck prop. There it is, by grayishbyrd. Once again, a larger capacity type truck, just to add a little bit of detail to this particular part of the area as well. So now we're getting to the part of the build where I was struggling to learn about how to deal with props and failing. Ignore what I'm doing here at the moment. I was trying something and it wasn't working. Don't worry about that. That is fine. So yes, these props are there. They're under the ground somewhere. Oh, see there? See all those little nodes under the ground there? Thousands of them. They're there. And I should have learnt, but I didn't. I now am making a silly mistake, and I want you to learn from my mistakes as much as I'm learning from my mistakes as well. See those two green circles there? Those are containers and they're underground, and I tried bringing them up. It didn't want to know. There they are, all of them. And I tried selecting this building and it wouldn't let me select the building. Well, the building is a prop, that's why it wouldn't let me select it. I discovered that one too late. So now I'm repositioning the building in a different configuration. You see, I couldn't settle on what configuration I wanted. I just wanted to hide the glitching there. And then I started popping down all of these containers again. But they're already there. So what I'm effectively doing here is I'm using up some of my prop limit, which, while it is in the thousands or in the tens of thousands even, you can use them up quite quickly. You know, all the decals and all that sort of stuff, they do add up. So putting these down again is a strategic error, a silly thing to do. What we want to do actually is we want to get the containers that are under the ground and we want to bring them up. Now there is a way to do this one, and I discovered this one too late, and here's me still struggling with the fence, thinking, oh come on, no, I don't have prop snapping activated, it's not going to work. Oh, hang on, next up, these containers. I need to tell you what these are. These ones, I can't tell you which one is which. I don't remember which one is which. But we have the Rubbish Container BSR by SvenBerlin coming up. We have the Rubbish Container Concrete and Metal by SvenBerlin coming up. And we have the Container Pack by Arnold J. Rimmer BSc SSC coming up. Now, if I'm honest with you, I'm not entirely best pleased with how I've got them laid out. Okay, so if you're going to say something in the comments about, you don't like, the layout doesn't make any sense, I know. I will come back and I'm going to tweak them. I will come back and fix them. But for now, they are perfectly fine like that. Yeah. Also, I'm going to be using a few of these for detailing around the opposite side of the road, because we've got some incomplete area around the back of the recycling plants that I want to come back and just tidy up. So there we are. So yeah, hatch markings we used last week. I don't remember whose they were. I think the beard monkeys actually. But yeah, if you want those, they are from last week's build. Now, I'm just going to change the speed limits here. And while we're changing the speed limits, you may notice in the bottom of the screen a truck. That is our first. I haven't built the roads yet that you've seen, but that is coming along right before the end of the episode. That truck is our first coal delivery to our power station. Yeah, look at it. It's taking our coal to our power station, and then that will be fully operational and pumping out power. Yep. So I just wanted to show you that. That was the first actual thing that was actually happening in our city. So yeah, you're wondering in weeks to come, when did the city actually start coming to life? It was at this particular moment now, when this truck delivers this coal to the front of the power station there. There's another one right behind it as well. But there we are. And so that's our first actual thing going on. Put down some decals meanwhile on the main screen. And I do believe those ones are from McWelshman. I believe they are the UK ones. But once again, they would have been covered in last week's episode, or the week before episode. I think it was actually the episode 1 we covered those. This is a brick wall network. I don't remember which one. Once again, covered last week's episode. If you want the link to this brick wall, it's too high, but we will be reducing the height of that now by grabbing all of the nodes and using page down. Lovely. That's much better, isn't it? And just drag those to the end of there. I'm just loving it. I'm just loving the feel for this build already, and I haven't even started on the residential area. I'm hoping I can do a valiant job. We've got a few road props, by the way, and I've got the mod to remove those. So I just want to get rid of some of these parking meters in areas where, well, they're not really needed. And fire hydrants great in America. We don't really have them over here. Well, not here anyway. Road networking. Yes, finally we're getting towards the end of the show, and I just wanted to get, so the garbage trucks can get down to the water treatment facility. There it is. And just going to extend that road out, and it's going to go muddy road. Might give you a clue as to what's coming on in later weeks for that particular area down there. Down here, you'll notice instantly my parking disappears there. No, my parking, barriers disappeared when I put that bit of road down. I fixed that instantly. Don't worry, that is all corrected already. It's just there you go. I used a roundabout builder for that one. Don't know why I fancy doing it on that one. I didn't have the settings right either, so it was much too big. So anyway, that will do for now. Once again, this is temporary roads only, so that we can actually have the services connected, and we will come back and do a much better job with these roads at a later point. Gonna want some water. Now connect the water up. The water is connected like that as well. And so that is it. We'll do the cinematic flyby now, remembering that on the left hand side we have an extra industrial unit that I hadn't figured into. I haven't told you, well, I have told you about, but I haven't showed you being placed. We'll be putting in the extra details as required. Here comes that garbage truck I told you about, the DAF. There it is. We'll be coming back and doing extra detailing to this as the weeks go by, just to make things just a little bit more come to life. But I'm liking the entire area. I think it's I think it's worked really, really well indeed. So yeah, no City Edition next week. So no Deauveau next week because recording City Edition, that's what I'm trying to say. And then the week after we will come back and start on the residential areas of Deauveau. So that's it from me for this week. Thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing. Join me Monday to Saturday for What's Map, trying to find you the right map for your next city build, for tutorials, and of course don't miss last week's City Edition. We've got the very last of Strict Toaster. No, that's it. I'm gone. Have a great day. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome.